They offered compassion to one human. Now billions stand by their side part, five years passed. The galaxy had changed in ways nobody could have predicted. The compassion accord grew from 2 species to 17. Humans, Thilin, Drenna, Olor, Kishal, and 12 others formed an alliance unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. They protected each other. They shared knowledge. They built something new together. Day One was no longer just a wounded soldier. He commanded the Alliance Defense Force, a military made up of volunteers from all member species. They trained together, fought together, and learned from each other. It was chaotic sometimes, but it worked. Vera led the Alliance Medical Initiative. Teams of healers from dozens of species traveled the galaxy, teaching and learning. The regeneration treatment she developed with Bora had saved millions of lives. But more importantly, it showed what cooperation could achieve. Ambassador Yuna became Secretary General of the Compassion Alliance. She worked from a station built jointly by all member species. The station, called Harmony, orbited a neutral star and served as the heart of the new alliance. But not everyone was happy about these changes. The Kryn Dominion saw the alliance as a threat. They had been building their own coalition of militaristic species. War had been avoided for 5 years through careful diplomacy. But tensions were rising. The crisis came suddenly. The Kryn launched a massive attack on the older homeworld. They wanted to test the alliance. They wanted to see if humans would really fight for their allies, or if the Compassion Accord was just words. Day One received the alert in the middle of the night. The Kryn fleet was large, over 500 warships. It was the biggest force they had assembled in decades. He immediately activated the alliance protocols. Messages went out to every member species. The response was overwhelming. Within hours, ships began arriving at rally points. Human destroyers, Thelm medical vessels, Drenna water combat specialists, Keshal electronic warfare ships, and more. Lieutenant He-Jin served as Day One's second in command. She was young, only 25. She had grown up hearing stories about the Battle of Thelis Prime. Now she was about to fight in a battle that might be even bigger. "Are you scared?" Day One asked her as they prepared to depart. "Yes," He-Jin admitted, "but I am also proud. We are doing something that matters. We are protecting people who cannot protect themselves." The Alliance fleet jumped to the Uller system. They arrived to find the Kryn already engaging the planetary defenses. Uller cities were being bombarded from orbit. Thousands were dying. Day One did not hesitate. "All ships, attack formation. We stop them here. We stop them now." The battle was fierce. The Kryn had numbers and firepower. But the Alliance had something else. They had practiced working together. Human tactics combined with Thelm support ships keeping everyone alive. Drenna fighters moved in patterns the Kryn could not predict. Keshal ships jammed enemy communications and sensors. It was like watching a symphony of war. Each species contributed their strengths. Together they were more powerful than they could ever be alone. He-Jin led a squadron of mixed species fighters in a daring attack on the Kryn flagship. Human pilots flew alongside Drenna and Keshal pilots. They covered each other, communicated in 3 languages at once, and trusted each other completely. The Kryn admiral watched in confusion. How were these species working so well together? Different technologies, different languages, different cultures. It should have been chaos. Instead, it was perfect coordination. Day One coordinated the final assault. He brought every available ship to bear on the Kryn command vessel. The combined firepower was devastating. The flagship's shields failed. Explosions rippled across its hull. For the second time in 5 years, the Kryn were forced to retreat. But this time was different. Several Kryn ships did not withdraw. They signaled the Alliance fleet. They wanted to surrender. Ambassador Yuna, watching from Harmony Station, made a decision. She opened a communication channel to the surrendering Kryn ships. "You have a choice," Yuna said. "You can return to the Dominion, or you can join us. We do not want enemies. We want partners. We want to build a galaxy where strength protects the weak rather than exploiting them." It was a radical offer, but it reflected what the Alliance believed. Even former enemies could change. 3 Kryn ships accepted. They would join the Alliance. Their crews would learn a different way. It would take time, but it was possible. After the battle, Vera and her medical teams landed on the Uller homeworld. They treated wounded from both sides. Uller civilians, Alliance soldiers, even captured Kryn warriors. Everyone received care. One Kryn warrior, injured and afraid, asked Vera why she was helping him. "I am your enemy," he said. "You were my enemy," Vera corrected gently. "Now you are just someone who needs help. That is all that matters." The story of the Battle of Olor spread across the galaxy. More Kryn worlds began questioning the Dominion. Why did they fight? What were they building? The Alliance offered something different, something better. 1 year after that battle, another ceremony was held, this time on Harmony Station. It marked the 5-year anniversary of the first Compassion Accord. Representatives from all 17 member species attended. So did observers from dozens of other worlds considering joining. Daewon was asked to speak. He stood before billions watching across the galaxy. He was older now. His hair had gray in it. The prosthetic arm Vera had given him years ago had been upgraded many times, but his eyes still held the same determination. 5 years ago, Daewon began. I was dying. I had lost everything. I expected nothing from the galaxy. But one person showed me compassion. A Theln doctor named Vera saved my life. She asked nothing in return. He paused, looking at the assembled crowd. That single act changed everything. It reminded my people that we are more than warriors. We are protectors. We are healers. We are friends. It showed us that the galaxy can be kind. Now billions stand together because we remember that moment. We remember that compassion is not weakness. It is the greatest strength any species can have. The Compassion Alliance is not built on fear or force. It is built on a simple truth. We are better together. We are stronger when we help each other. We are more than the sum of our parts. Vera joined him on the platform. They stood side by side, human and Theln, the two people whose chance meeting had changed the galaxy. The crowd erupted in celebration. Cheers and sounds of joy from 17 different species filled the station. It was beautiful chaos. It was hope. Later, Daewon and Vera stood in an observation deck looking at space. Alliance stations and ships filled the view, each one crewed by multiple species working together. "Do you ever think about how it all started?" Daewon asked. "One doctor helping one soldier?" "I think about it every day," Vera said. "I did not know saving your life would lead to all this. I just did what felt right." "That is the point," Daewon said. "You did not think about consequences or rewards. You just helped someone who needed it. And that is what the Alliance is. Millions of people choosing to do what is right even when it is hard." They watched as a transport ship docked at the station. Through the windows they could see families, Theln and human children playing together, Drenna and Olor adults sharing stories, former Kryn warriors learning from Kaishal engineers. "The galaxy is not perfect," Vera said quietly. "There are still conflicts, still challenges, but it is better than it was." "It is better because people like you exist," Daewon said. "Because you believe in compassion even when the galaxy is cruel. And because when you showed that compassion to me, I carried it forward. And now billions are doing the same." Far below, on a small observation platform, 2 children stood together. One was human, a girl about 7 years old. The other was Theln, a young boy with silver fur. They were best friends. They went to the same school on Harmony Station. They did not think about politics or history or the Compassion Accord. They just knew they liked each other. They knew their parents told them stories about bravery and kindness. And they knew that the galaxy was a place where different species could be friends. That was the future. Not perfect, not without problems, but better, kinder, built on the simple idea that compassion given would be returned. That kindness shown to one person could change billions. Daewon and Vera stood together in the observation deck, watching the children below. Neither of them spoke. They did not need to. They both understood what they had started, and they both knew it would continue long after they were gone. Because compassion, once given freely, never truly ends. It spreads, it grows, it changes everything. One act of kindness. Billions standing together, that was the promise. That was the future. That was hope. The news spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. The Battle of Thelis Prime, humans defending an alien species. Volunteers fighting against a superior force, and winning. Every species heard the story. Some were amazed. Some were confused. Many asked the same question. Why would humans risk their lives for the Theln? The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from dozens of worlds gathered in the Great Chamber on Unity Station. The chamber was enormous, with seats arranged in circles going up to the ceiling. Each species had their place. Humans were in the outer ring, newcomers to galactic politics. Ambassador Una stood at the speaker's platform. She looked small in the vast space, but her voice carried. "Members of the Council," she began, "I come before you to propose the Compassion Accord, a formal alliance between humanity and the Thelen people. An alliance based not on strategic interest, but on mutual respect and shared values." Councillor Tharn rose to speak. He was a reptilian Velic, with scales that changed color with his emotions. Right now they were dark red, showing anger. "This is dangerous," Tharn said. "Humans are warriors, Deathworlders. They just proved they can mobilize hundreds of ships in days. They fought a battle that killed hundreds of their own people. For what? For a species they barely know. This shows they are unpredictable, dangerous." Other councillors murmured agreement. The humans had scared them, not with threats, but with their willingness to fight for principles. Una remained calm. "You say we are dangerous because we protected the weak? You say we are unpredictable because we honored a debt of kindness? Then I ask you, what does that say about the galaxy if compassion is considered dangerous? You could use this to conquer," Tharn argued. "You form alliances with peaceful species. You become their protectors. Then you control them." "We could," Una agreed, "but we will not." The Compassion Accord includes guarantees. The Thelen remain independent. They make their own decisions. We only defend them if they are attacked. We ask nothing in return. Why? Another councillor asked. "What do you gain?" Una paused. How could she explain? How could she make them understand what Vera saving Day One meant to humanity? "We gain the knowledge that we did the right thing," Una said. "We gain the friendship of people who share our values. We gain a galaxy where kindness is protected, not exploited." The council chamber filled with debate. Arguments went back and forth. Then a new voice spoke. Elder Mirai, the spiritual leader of the Thelen, asked to address the council. Mirai was old, her silver fur touched with white. She walked slowly to the platform. When she spoke, her voice was gentle but clear. "I will tell you why the humans came," Mirai said. "One of our doctors, Vera, found a dying human soldier. Nobody else would help him. He had no money, no status. He was just a wounded person in pain. So Vera healed him. She asked nothing in return. It is what we do." The chamber was silent. Everyone listened. "That soldier Day One remembered," Mirai continued. "When our world was threatened, he told other humans what Vera had done. And they came. Not because their government ordered it. Not because they wanted something from us. They came because one of them had been shown compassion and they all felt they owed a debt." Mirai looked around the chamber. That is what humanity is. They remember kindness. They honor debts that cannot be measured in money or resources. They are willing to die to protect those who help them. If that makes them dangerous, then I pray more species become dangerous in the same way. The speech changed something. Councillors who had been opposed began reconsidering. The Thelen had no reason to lie. They were famous for their honesty and compassion. If they said humans could be trusted, maybe it was true. The vote was close. But the Compassion Accord passed. Humanity and the Thelen formed the first formal alliance based entirely on mutual respect and shared principles. The news reached Thelis Prime within hours. Celebrations erupted across the planet. On Refuge Station, Day One received messages from hundreds of humans. They were proud. They felt like humanity had finally done something that mattered on the galactic stage. But the Compassion Accord had immediate consequences. Within days, 3 other species approached humanity with requests for similar partnerships. The Drenna were an aquatic people threatened by pirates. Their ocean worlds had valuable minerals, but they had no way to defend themselves. They asked if humanity would help protect their shipping lanes. The Olor were farmers, peaceful and productive, but their worlds were running out of water. They asked if humanity would help them develop new technology to sustain their civilization. The Keshal were recovering from a terrible plague. They needed medical knowledge and resources. They asked if humanity would share what they knew. Day One met with representatives from these species on Refuge Station. He was not a diplomat. He was just a soldier who had been saved by kindness. But these aliens wanted to talk to him specifically. He was the beginning of everything. "Why do you trust us?" Day One asked the Drenna ambassador. "You do not know humans well." The Drenna, a being that looked like a combination of fish and humanoid, gestured with webbed hands. "We know what you did for the Thelen. We know you fought for them because it was right. If you would do that for one species, perhaps you would do it for others. The requests kept coming. Each species had heard the story. Each one saw in humanity a potential protector who might act from principle rather than self-interest. Vera and a team of human scientists made an announcement that shocked everyone. They had developed a new medical treatment combining Thelon healing knowledge with human technology. The treatment could regenerate damaged organs and heal severe injuries, and they were offering it freely to all species. A young human engineer named Bora worked with Vera on the project. She explained their reasoning at a press conference. The Thelon taught us something, Bora said. Knowledge that heals should be shared, not hoarded. We could make money from this treatment. We could use it for political advantage. But that is not why we developed it. We made it to help people. All people. The gesture reinforced what Elder Mireille had said. Humans were serious about building something different. An alliance based on helping each other, not exploiting each other. 6 months after the Battle of Thelos Prime, a ceremony was held on the Thelon homeworld. A monument was unveiled in the capital city. It showed a human and a Thelon standing side by side, looking toward the stars. The inscription was simple. Compassion given, loyalty returned. Below that, in smaller letters, were the names of every human who died defending Thelos Prime. Jinwoo's name was there, and hundreds of others. Day One stood before the monument with Vera. Thousands of Thelon and hundreds of humans attended the ceremony. Cameras from across the galaxy broadcast it live. They will be remembered, Vera said quietly. Everyone who died. Everyone who fought. They changed the galaxy. They did it because of you, Day One said. You saved one person. And that one act created all of this. Vera shook her head. No, I just did what was right. You and your people chose to do the same. That choice is what changed everything. Around the monument, Thelon children played with human children. The first generation that would grow up knowing both species as friends. They did not think about politics or history. They just knew that their parents told them stories about bravery and kindness. In the Galactic Council, Counselor Tharn watched the ceremony on a screen. He still did not fully trust humans, but he could not deny what he was seeing. Maybe, just maybe, the galaxy was changing. Maybe there was a different way to build civilization. A way based on protection rather than conquest. On compassion rather than competition. It was just the beginning. The compassion accord would grow. More species would join. And at the center of it all would be a simple truth. One act of kindness given freely had started everything, and billions of beings were choosing to continue it. Thelos Prime was beautiful. Day One saw it through his cockpit window as the human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The planet was covered in blue oceans and green forests. White clouds swirled in the atmosphere. It looked peaceful. It looked like a place worth protecting. But peace was about to end. On the other side of the planet, the Kryn fleet was approaching. 300 warships, battle cruisers designed to destroy planets, fighter squadrons that could darken the sky. And leading them all was Warlord Krask, a commander who had conquered 15 worlds. The human ships moved into defensive positions around Thelos Prime. Commander Tae Yang organized them from the bridge of her destroyer. She had military vessels in the center, forming a strong core. The converted civilian ships spread out on the flanks. It was not a perfect formation, but it would have to work. Daewon commanded a squadron of volunteer fighters. Most of his pilots were not professional soldiers. A few were retired military. Others were security contractors or merchant spacers who had learned to fly. One was a farmer from a colony world who owned an old military surplus fighter. Stay close to each other, Daewon told them over the radio. Watch your fuel. Do not try to be heroes. We survive by working together. On the planet's surface, Vera watched from an underground shelter. Thelon civilians huddled around screens showing the space above their world. They saw the human ships. They saw ordinary people preparing to fight for them. Many were crying. The Kryn fleet arrived. Their ships were dark and angular, built for war. They formed up in attack formation. A message came from Warlord Krask. His voice was harsh, filtered through a translator. Humans, you have no business here. This world belongs to the Kryn Dominion. Leave now or be destroyed, Commander Tae Yang responded. Her voice was calm and clear. This world belongs to the Thelon people. They are under our protection. If you attack them, you attack us. We will not leave. There was silence. Then Krask laughed. You are fools. The Theln are weak, and you are outnumbered. I will give you one more chance. Leave or die. Tae-Yang looked at the faces of her bridge crew. They were scared but determined. She thought about why they came. Not for money. Not for glory. Because a Theln doctor had saved a human soldier, and that meant something. We do not abandon our friends, Tae-Yang said. Come and try to move us. The Kryn fleet attacked, space filled with weapons fire. Missiles streaked between ships. Energy beams cut through the darkness. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. The battle had begun. The Kryn were experienced warriors. They moved in precise formations. They focused fire on weak points. They expected the humans to break and run. But the humans did not run. Daewon led his squadron in an attack on a Kryn cruiser. They came from above, diving fast. The Kryn expected them to follow standard tactics. Instead, Daewon had his pilots scatter in different directions, firing as they went. It was chaos, but it worked. The cruiser's defenses could not track all of them. One of the civilian converted ships, a cargo freighter named Honest Trade, was piloted by Captain Jin Woo. His ship was not fast. It was not heavily armed. But when he saw a Kryn battlecruiser targeting a human destroyer, Jin Woo made a decision. He turned his ship toward the enemy cruiser. He pushed his engines to maximum. His crew knew what he was planning. Get to the escape pods, Jin Woo ordered. I am going to ram them. Captain, no, his first officer said. Get out, Jin Woo said firmly. That is an order. Tell my family I died doing something that mattered. The crew evacuated. Jin Woo stayed at the controls. He aimed his freighter at the Kryn cruiser. At the last moment, he activated all his fuel tanks to explode on impact. The Honest Trade hit the enemy ship at full speed. The explosion was massive. Both ships were destroyed. But the human destroyer survived. Across the fleet, other humans saw what Jin Woo did. They saw a civilian captain sacrifice himself to protect others. The message was clear. This was not about military duty. This was about something deeper. This was about proving that compassion deserved to be defended no matter the cost. The human ships fought harder. Volunteer pilots took risks that military doctrine said were foolish. Converted merchant vessels used their greater maneuverability to confuse Kryn formations. The military destroyers coordinated fire with precision. Together they became more than the sum of their parts. Warlord Krask watched from his flagship. He could not understand what he was seeing. The humans should have broken. They were outnumbered. Many of their ships were barely armed. But they fought like they had nothing to lose and everything to protect. What are they fighting for? Krask asked his officers. The Theln have nothing. No resources worth taking. No strategic value. Why do the humans care? His second-in-command had no answer. The Kryn understood fighting for territory. They understood fighting for power. They did not understand fighting for principles. Commander Tae-Yang saw an opportunity. The Kryn were confused by human tactics. Their formations had gaps. She contacted all ship captains. All ships, this is Tae-Yang. We are going to focus everything on their flagship. Every missile, every gun, everything we have. One target. On my mark, the human fleet converged. Destroyers, carriers, converted merchant ships, fighter squadrons. They all turned toward the Kryn flagship. It was a dangerous move. It exposed them to enemy fire. But if they could take out the command ship, the battle might end. Mark, Tae-Yang shouted. The combined firepower of 300 human ships hit the Kryn flagship. Missiles by the hundreds. Energy weapons from every angle. The flagship's shields held for a moment, then collapsed. Explosions ripped through its hull. Secondary detonations spread across the ship. Warlord Krask realized he had lost. These humans were not normal enemies. They fought with the intensity he had never seen. They accepted losses that would break other forces, all for a species they barely knew. Retreat, Krask ordered. All ships fall back. We cannot win this. The Kryn fleet withdrew. They had never retreated from a weaker force before. But the humans were not weaker. Not where it mattered. As the enemy ships jumped away, the human fleet stopped firing. They did not pursue. Their goal was not conquest. Their goal was protection. And they had succeeded. The cost was high. 43 human ships destroyed. Hundreds of people killed. Jin Woo and many others like him had given everything, but Thelis Prime was safe. Daewon landed his fighter on the planet. His hands shook as he climbed out. He had survived, but many had not. He walked through the spaceport, seeing other pilots. They were exhausted. Some were injured. All of them looked changed. Vera met him at the entrance. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Then Vera spoke, her voice breaking. "Why did you come? So many died. Why did you risk so much?" Daewon was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Because you showed me that the galaxy can be kind, that compassion exists, and if people like you can believe that, then people like me have to protect it. Kindness is worth fighting for. It is worth dying for." Vera started crying, not from sadness, from overwhelming gratitude and something else. Hope. Hope that maybe the galaxy could change. Around them, Theln civilians emerged from shelters. They saw the human warriors. They saw people who had traveled across space to save them. Many Theln approached the humans, touching their hands, thanking them in whatever way they could. It was the beginning of something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. The message came in the middle of the night. Daewon was sleeping when his communication device started beeping. He grabbed it, still half asleep. The screen showed an emergency code. His heart began racing. It was from Vera. The message was short but terrible. The Kryn Dominion had declared war on the Theln. Their fleet was moving toward Thelis Prime. The Theln homeworld would be attacked within 3 weeks. Daewon sat up in bed. His hand shook as he read the message again. The Kryn were known across the galaxy. They were insect-like warriors who believed that strength was the only thing that mattered. They conquered peaceful worlds and took what they wanted. The Theln had no army. They would be destroyed. He got dressed quickly and ran to the clinic. Vera was there, packing medical supplies. Her hands moved fast, but her eyes looked scared. "I have to go home," she said when she saw Daewon. "My people need help. We are evacuating the cities. We are moving everyone underground. But the Kryn will not stop. They want our world. What will you do?" Daewon asked. "We will not fight," Vera said. "It is against our beliefs. We are healers, not warriors. The council has decided. We will accept whatever happens." Daewon felt anger rising in his chest. "You will just let them take your world? Let them kill your people?" "We have no choice," Vera said. Her voice broke. "We do not have weapons. We do not have soldiers. What can we do?" Daewon grabbed his communication device. "I can do something," he said. He contacted Earth Military Command first. He explained the situation. He asked for help. The response came back within hours. Earth could not send official forces. There was no treaty with the Theln. Military resources were needed elsewhere. They were sorry, but the answer was no. Daewon expected this. But he was not finished. He started sending messages to every human he knew. Old military friends, people he served with, veterans who had retired. He told them about Vera. He told them how she saved his life when nobody else would help him. He told them the Theln were going to die unless someone stood up for them. Then he did something bigger. He recorded a video message. He sat in front of a camera and spoke from his heart. "My name is Daewon," he said. 3 months ago I was dying on this station. A Theln doctor named Vera saved my life. She did not care that I was human. She did not care that I had no money. She just helped me because it was the right thing to do." He held up his prosthetic arm. "Now her people are going to be attacked. They have no army, no weapons. They believe in peace and healing. And they are going to die for it unless we help them. I am asking any human who can hear this. If you have a ship, bring it. If you have weapons, bring them. If you have the will to fight for people who showed us kindness, then come to Refuge Station. We are going to Thelis Prime. We are going to stand between the Theln and the Kryn, and we are going to show the galaxy what humanity means." He sent the message everywhere. Military networks, civilian channels, social media, news stations. He did not know if anyone would listen. The response shocked him. Within 12 hours, 50 ships arrived at Refuge Station. Within 24 hours, 100 more. They came from everywhere. Old soldiers flying personal craft. Merchant ships whose captains added weapons to their cargo vessels. Private security companies offering their services for free. Even civilian volunteers who just wanted to help. Hyo Jin came to see Daewon. Her eyes were wide. "Do you see what is happening?" she said. "Your message went viral. Everyone is sharing it. Everyone is talking about it. Humans across the colonies are saying we have to help the Theln." A military ship arrived. The destroyer Indomitable. Its commander was Tai Yang, a woman with sharp eyes and gray hair. She met with Daewon in the station's conference room. "I am not here officially," Tai Yang said. Earth government has not authorized this. But I read your message. I saw what the Thelm did for you. And I remember something my grandmother told me. She said the measure of a person is what they do for those who can give nothing back. You are going to help? Daewon asked. I am going to help, Taeyang said. And I am bringing 4 more destroyers and 2 carriers. They are volunteers, every one of them. We are coming with you to Thelis Prime. More ships kept arriving. By the end of the first week, over 300 vessels gathered around Refuge Station. It was not an official fleet. It was a collection of individuals who decided that kindness deserved protection. Vera watched from the station. She could not believe what she was seeing. Why are they doing this? She asked Daewon. They do not know my people. Most of them have never met a Thelm. They know you saved me, Daewon said. They know your people believe in healing and compassion. And they know that if we let good people die without trying to help, then what does that make us? But you might die, Vera said. Her voice was small. The Kryn are strong. You might not survive, maybe, Daewon said. But you did not think about that when you saved me. You just did what was right. Now we are doing the same. Ambassador Yuna arrived from Earth. She was the official representative to the Galactic Council. She looked tired but determined. This is not how diplomacy usually works, she told Daewon. But I am going to the Council. I am going to propose that humanity formally protects the Theln. I do not know if they will agree, but I have to try. What if they say no? Daewon asked. Yuna smiled. Then we do it anyway. Sometimes you have to do what is right even when nobody gives you permission. The fleet prepared to leave. Captains checked their weapons. Engineers made repairs. Medical teams loaded supplies. It was chaotic but organized. Everyone knew what they were doing. Everyone knew why they were doing it. Daewon stood on the observation deck looking at the assembled ships. Beside him was Taeyang. This is historic, Taeyang said. The first time humanity has mobilized to protect another species. Not for territory, not for resources. Just because it is right. Do you think we can win? Daewon asked. I do not know, Taeyang said honestly. The Kryn are powerful, but they have never fought humans before. They do not know what we are capable of when we are protecting something we believe in. Vera came to say goodbye to Daewon. She was leaving for Thelis Prime on a medical transport. Thank you, she said, for everything. For caring about my people. You started this, Daewon said. You showed me that compassion exists in the galaxy. Now I am just returning the favor. They looked at each other for a long moment. No more words were needed. The fleet departed Refuge Station. Hundreds of human ships moving together toward Thelis Prime. They were not professional soldiers, though some were. They were not following orders, though some were military. They were ordinary people who decided that kindness mattered more than safety. As the ships jumped to faster than light speed, Daewon sat in his fighter cockpit. He thought about Vera's clinic. He thought about the week she spent healing him. He thought about her simple belief that everyone deserved compassion. Now he was going to fight for that belief. And he was not alone. Behind him, beside him, around him, were humans who felt the same way. The Kryn did not know what was coming. They expected an easy victory. Instead, they were about to meet humanity at its best. The pain was everywhere. Daewon could not remember a time when his body did not hurt. He lay on a medical bed in a small room that smelled like chemicals and something he could not name. The walls were white. The lights were too bright. Everything felt wrong. His left arm was gone. Not just injured, gone. The doctors on the emergency transport had cut it off to save his life. They said infection had spread too far. They said he was lucky to be alive. Daewon did not feel lucky. He felt empty. The Battle of Kepler Station had ended 3 weeks ago. Daewon remembered the explosions. He remembered his squad calling for help on the radio. He remembered the ceiling collapsing. After that, everything became confused. Pain, darkness, more pain. Then he woke up here on Refuge Station at the edge of space where nobody important ever came. A door opened. Daewon turned his head, expecting another human doctor. Instead, he saw something different. The creature that entered was small, maybe 4 feet tall. She had silver fur that caught the light. Her eyes were large and dark like pools of water. She moved carefully, as if afraid to disturb him. Daewon had seen aliens before. The galaxy was full of different species, but most of them stayed away from humans. They called humans death worlders, dangerous, violent, better to avoid. This creature did not look afraid. She looked concerned. "Hello," she said. Her voice was soft. She spoke through a translator device on her collar. "My name is Vera. I am a doctor. How do you feel?" Daewon stared at her. "Like I am dying," he said. Vera stepped closer. She looked at the screens showing his vital signs. "You are not dying," she said. "But you are very sick. The infection in your blood is bad. The human doctors, they did what they could, but you need more help, and why do you care?" Daewon asked. His voice was rough. "I am human. Your people probably want nothing to do with me." Vera tilted her head. "I am Theln," she said. "We believe that all life deserves care. It does not matter what species you are. You are hurt. I can help. That is enough." Daewon did not know what to say. He had spent years fighting. Years watching friends die. Years being told that humans had to be strong because the galaxy was cold and cruel. Now this small alien was telling him she would help just because he needed it. "I have no money," Daewon said. "Earth will not pay for treatment here. I am just a soldier. Nobody important. I do not want money," Vera said. She began adjusting the medical equipment. "I want you to get better. That is payment enough." Over the next days, Vera came to see Daewon many times. She brought medicine that reduced the infection. She changed his bandages. She made sure he ate even when food made him feel sick. She talked to him about simple things. The weather on her home planet, the flowers that grew in her garden, stories about other patients she had helped. Slowly, Daewon began to feel less pain. The infection retreated. His body started to heal, but his mind was still broken. At night, he dreamed of Kepler Station. He heard his friends screaming. He woke up covered in sweat, breathing hard, Vera noticed. One morning, after a particularly bad night, she sat beside his bed. "You carry pain inside," she said. "Not just in your body, in your heart." "They all died," Daewon said quietly. "My whole squad. I was the only one who survived." "Why me? Why not them?" Vera was silent for a moment. Then she said, "I do not know why. But you are alive. That means something. Maybe you survived so you could do something important. Maybe you survived so you could help others the way I am helping you now." "I cannot help anyone," Daewon said. "I am broken." "Broken things can be repaired," Vera said. "It takes time. It takes patience. But it is possible." Weeks passed. Daewon grew stronger. He could walk now, though he moved slowly. Vera gave him exercises to do. She taught him how to use a temporary prosthetic arm. It was not perfect, but it helped. He could pick up objects. He could dress himself. Small victories. One day, Vera asked if he wanted to help in the clinic. "There are other patients," she said. "Some do not speak common language. You could translate. You could assist me with simple tasks. Only if you want to," Daewon agreed. He had nothing else to do. At first it was strange. He helped Vera treat an injured trader from the outer colonies. He held supplies while she worked. He spoke to patients, calming them when they were scared. It felt good to be useful again. He met other species. A tall creature with blue skin who had broken bones. A small furry being with breathing problems. A reptilian trader who had been poisoned by bad food. Vera treated them all the same. She did not care who they were or where they came from. If they needed help, she gave it. "Why do you do this?" Daewon asked one evening. They were cleaning the clinic after a long day. "You could make more money elsewhere. You could have an easier life." Vera looked at him. "This is what my people believe," she said. "We think the purpose of life is to reduce suffering. When someone hurts, we help them. It is not about money or status. It is about doing what is right." "Not many species think that way," Daewon said. "No," Vera agreed. "But maybe they should. The galaxy would be better if more people helped each other." Daewon thought about this. He had been a soldier. He had been trained to fight, to protect human interests, to see the galaxy as a dangerous place full of threats. But here was this small alien who saw things differently. She saw opportunities to heal. She saw people who needed kindness. Another human came to the clinic one day. Her name was Hyojin. She worked as a translator on the station. She had heard about Daewon, about the wounded soldier being cared for by a Theln doctor. "This is incredible," Hyojin said. She watched Vera work with amazement. "Do you know how rare this is? Most aliens will not even talk to humans, but she saved your life." "She did," Daewon said simply. "I have to tell people about this." Hyojin said, "Humans need to know that not all aliens fear us. Some of them, like the Thelon, they see us as equals, as people worth saving. She sent messages back to Earth. She wrote about Daewon and Vera. She described the clinic, the kindness, the simple act of caring for someone who had nothing to offer in return. The message was not fancy. It was just the truth. But truth has power. 3 months after arriving at Refuge Station, Daewon stood outside the clinic. It was late evening. The station's artificial sky showed stars. He looked up at them, feeling something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. Vera joined him. "You are thinking," she said. "I was thinking about debt," Daewon said. "You saved my life. I can never repay that." "You do not owe me anything," Vera said. "Yes, I do," Daewon said. "Maybe not money. Maybe not anything physical. But I owe you something. You showed me that the galaxy can be kind. You showed me that compassion exists. That is a gift I cannot measure." Vera smiled. It was the first time Daewon had seen her smile. "Then take that gift," she said. "And maybe one day give it to someone else." Daewon nodded. He did not know what the future held. He did not know if he would ever be whole again. But he knew one thing. He would remember this moment. He would remember what Vera had done. And if the time came, if she or her people ever needed help, he would be there. That was a promise he made to himself as he looked at the stars. A promise that would change everything.